This is Drunk Theory, and I'm Kara.
And I'm Matthew.
And this is our inebriated intellectual, a.k.a.
Science bitch.
Science bitch.
Hello.
And over here we got...
The child.
The child. Because everybody needs a child's input. Like conspiracies or whatever, I don't know. But here we go. What are we talking about today, Matt?
We're talking about time travel.
Time travel.
Time travel, yes.
And you did research on time travel?
I did a little bit of research. I didn't do much because I am a firm believer in time travel being real.
Am I allowed to ask questions already, or you got a whole
you
spiel going on?
Go your whole thing.
Why do you already believe it? Just because you're just like, yes, that's got to be a thing? Or did you already have, like, prior information / knowledge to where you're like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no absolute proof, so it's...
Well, no, I know that, but, like, is there a specific thing that one time you heard and you were like, fucking A, that works? Or is it just, like, the childish wonder where you're like, yes, time travel is real? Because that's what it is for me, it's childish wonder. I'm like, yes.
I think it's a combination of all that. Like, I've seen some stuff on the internet, and my imagination wants to believe that we're smart enough to come up with something.
Absolutely, right? I mean, if it can be done, we've done it, I feel like. And if you can imagine it, I feel like it can be done.
I feel like most people that do not believe in it base their opinions on the technology that we have today or in the past. But my opinion is, what if we have the technology to do it way off in the future?
Well, how many light years away is the goddamn moon?
I don't think it's...
I was just going to say, like, we could put a man on the moon. We can put a man back in 1974, right? Like, because that's technically closer. But I guess it don't work that way. Is the moon not, like, several light years away? I don't know. What are light years? I know that if the sun burns out, it takes 7 minutes for us to know.
If the sun burns out, everything fucking dies. I don't know what you're talking
about. Well, I know, but once we see
it,
it would have actually burned out 7 minutes ago.
I will be right back.
But that's not a light year. That's like a light 7 minutes.
No, there's actually a name for that. It's the heat death of the universe. Everything dies.
Well, I mean, I know, but it takes...
We wouldn't know until 7 minutes after
it takes 7 minutes for us to realize.
According to the internet and spaceplace.nasa.gov,
spaceplace.nasa.gov,
1 light year is the distance light travels in 1 Earth year. 1 light year is about 6 trillion miles.
Damn.
Well, I feel like 1974 is closer than that. So if we put men on the moon in 1970s...
Well, how many miles is a year?
3,600 and... Wait, what? Alright. I don't know the answer to that question. I was doing feet per mile. And I'm still wrong, but it is.
You're doing feet mile. A year is not even feet or a mile.
There's 365 days in a year.
So how many miles is that?
Would it be like a mile times 365?
No, man.
Which would just be 365.
I don't even know what the fuck you're doing.
We're talking about light years, and she thinks that it's closer to get to 1974 than the moon.
It is, though. How many light years away is the moon?
How many light years away is 1974?
Google both of those things.
Alright.
Hold on, I feel like we got off track. Matt's got it.
According to the internet again, it looks like it's saying light moves with a speed of 186,282.397 meters per second, which means you could travel around the circumference of the Earth in 1 second 7 times.
Damn. That doesn't tell me about 1974.
Yeah. Just Google how many light years away is 1974.
Well, that's not going to result.
Just Google it and see what comes up, because I feel like it could only be good things, right?
We can talk about Back to the Future. That's all I got.
Do you have anything in this house that runs on gigawatts?
Do we have a flux capacitor?
You can go to the O'Reilly's Auto Parts website and search for
Flux capacitor.
you don't search for flux capacitor. What's the gigawatts that you needed?
2.21
Oh.
or 2.12. Fuck.
I think it was 2-1. 2-1 sounds right.
I don't remember what it is. But you can search for the amount of gigawatts it is on the O'Reilly's part search thing, and it will bring up a flux capacitor.
Can you actually put it in your cart?
No, it's always sold
It's
out.
1.21.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah,
One
so
point-
I think you do
Or here's one for 2.21, so I don't know.
1.21 G, I think is the...
1.21 gigawatts. Gigawatts is how you say it. It even says that.
But
Does it for real?
Yeah, it says giga, J-I-G-G.
Nah.
Well, so if you try to put it in your cart, what happens? What if I have a
you
DeLorean?
can't buy it. It's just the Easter egg they put on their website. It's always
Aw.
sold out.
Well, that's kind of cool.
But yeah, the
that's
part
cute.
number is 1.21 gigawatts.
I wonder if
Gigawatts, however you say it.
the company knows that, or if that's something that the website person put in and they have no idea that it's there.
Oh, that's
Who
funny.
knows? But I did do the math on this because light can travel around the Earth 7 times in 1 second. The circumference of the Earth is 24,901 miles. So that means light can travel 174,307 miles per second.
Damn.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
So, what do we do with that information? How does that help us with time?
Science, bitch.
I don't know, you were asking about that a minute ago.
I know.
Wait.
It's
No, we were
science
trying to
bitch's
figure
turn.
out how many light years away like the moon was. Or is the moon not even far enough away for it to be considered that?
I don't think the moon is
Far enough
for
away?
that.
How many miles is just one light?
I don't know that light years makes a difference in our conversations here. The speed of light does if you are looking at Einstein's theory. Then speed of light does factor in. It does make time travel possible, theoretically. In my opinion, and in the opinion of other scientists, there is no technology available today that would make it possible based on traveling the speed of light. And
What about accidental? What about, and this is probably going to make me sound crazy, but, so say it's not something that somebody built. Let's just say there's like, for some reason, a weird spot in the woods.
like a wormhole?
Yeah.
Like a wormhole?
That nobody built, it's just there. You believe in that type of shit?
I don't believe in wormholes in the
Kelly doesn't believe in
My-
anything that isn't backed up by science.
but
My problem with
Well-
that is all scientists are basing their opinion on technology that exists now or has existed up to this point.
right.
But someone in 200,000 years might have better technology and the technology to come back and forth.
So also the theories that we have today would suggest that it might be possible to go forward but not backward in time.
I think it's
I
all the
mean-
same.
It wouldn't be the same.
How do you know if you don't believe it's real?
I didn't say it wasn't real. I said it was absolutely theoretically possible.
I didn't hear that part.
Oh.
She doesn't think we can go backwards. She thinks we can. only-
Why?
No. I mean, I'm saying that theoretically, going backwards is different than going forward.
Why?
Well, yeah.
Because physics is all about math. The math doesn't work backwards. Like if we're looking at Einstein, if we're looking at like the theory of relativity, it doesn't work backwards.
But math absolutely works back.
That's what I was about to say, and you know,
Well, all
I
right.
mean, 1 plus 1 equals 2.
Right.
2 minus 1
The math
equals
in
1.
oh, y'all know what I learned the other day? Percentages are interchangeable. 25% of 8 is the same as 8% of 25. So if somebody asked you like 8% of 25, you just do 25% of 8, and that's way easier to figure out, and it's the same answer always.
I never thought about that, and I don't have the energy to try to figure that out right now. But in this case, the equations are not.
I think they are.
I don't think that math has anything to do with it.
No, it absolutely does. Physics is all math.
I think that math has something to do with it.
Do you think we explode if we go back in time?
No. What?
She doesn't think we can go back. So
No, she didn't say that. She said it's harder to go back than it is
Well,
to
I'm
go
saying
forward.
that the theories that we have now don't really support going backward. Like,
Look at
Einstein's theory does not support going backward.
You
It
would
is-
think, but if you think about it, is it not easier to go backwards since it's already happened than to go forward when you don't know what's going to happen because it's based on your choices?
Right, and how would you even know?
it's not based on your choices.
Your
No, no.
future is 100% based on your choices.
So, no, but check this shit out, right? If I go 50 years in the future and I see some weird fucking shit,
And then you don't see it those 50 years?
well, no, hold on. And then I come back and I'm like, wow, I went into the future and I saw some weird fucking shit. Maybe I was just fucking hallucinating. Did y'all slip me some PCP? I don't know. But if you send me back to 1959 and I'm in a ice cream shop watching Buddy Holly, I know for a fact that I went back in time.
If I hear Buddy Holly, come out your mouth.
Well, also, could you ever even think about going to? I mean, could it ever even be a possibility to go back to a time when the time machine didn't exist?
Well, but it exists where I am now. Why can't I go wherever?
That's like the cartoon thing. What was it with Stewie when he had the... Oh, and even
They broke it and they reversed time.
the creep show with the fucking weird remote or whatever. All of that shit. So you're saying since it doesn't exist now, we could never come back to this time.
But how do you know it doesn't exist now?
No, it 100% does exist now.
Because why couldn't you just bring it with you?
Bring the time machine, like the DeLorean.
Or the knowledge
The
to get here and
to-
build one.
But
to
who's
revisit-
to say the time machine is some big thing? Like, what if it's the size of
It could
a
be
cell?
the DeLorean.
Right.
What if it's
What if
the
it's
size
like,
of a cell
again,
phone you put it in your pocket? There you go.
Family Guy, it's only this big.
Yeah.
He's got a disc this big.
Well, that,
And it expands out, yeah. It's just,
I mean,
You step on it and then you're
I'm just spouting.
So
science.
what do we got? What do you got? Like, who's... I mean, are there any, like, news stories about a time traveler? I actually read one earlier that was funny as hell that I'd seen before, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because I know that y'all saw it too. Stephen Hawking threw a party for time travelers and didn't announce it until the next day.
Oh,
Yeah, he threw a party for time travelers, didn't announce it until the next day, and then came out and said nobody showed up. So there's no such thing as time travelers. That's what he said.
because time travelers would have seen the announcement.
And they would have shown up at the party that he had the number for.
And he would have sent it to the smartest physicist in
Yeah.
the world who could have
So he
invented
said
that
there's
shit.
no time
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think that proves his point, though.
No, it doesn't, but I just
That
thought it
is
was funny.
pretty-
And I did see that this morning, so that's funny as hell because I
Because
had no idea that that's what we were doing this
If
morning.
if
We're
I
part of a
threw-
conspiracy talk thing that after he said that, somebody asked about conspiracy with time travel. And that was my thing. I didn't know it was a conspiracy theory. I didn't know that there was a thing with that because, you know, I'd seen it as like a science fiction thing. I didn't know that there were people that had claimed to have come back.
Oh my god, that shit happens at least every 3 or 4 years. Some
Yeah.
motherfucker is like, hey,
And
I didn't know that there were famous people that they said have apparently the Trumps
Yeah, there was a book that was written well.
have come back. Also, Elon Musk is a big one.
oh, that guy.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Greta Thunberg.
Greta
Oh, yeah, that
Thunberg
is-
apparently is from the they found a picture that
That's
looks
a-
just like her from like the 1800s, like
That's a
You know,
that's
gold
a
rush days.
doppelganger thing,
Yeah.
though.
Probably.
But going back to the Stephen Hawking theory, the reason I don't think that really works is because if I threw a party today for time travelers and announce it tomorrow, even people that could travel through time wouldn't get
That doesn't
that.
give them enough time.
They wouldn't get the announcement until a day late.
You need to do it a month in advance. Well, fuck it. Let's put out a...
Also, who's to say they want to go party with Stephen Hawking? What if everybody's like, I'm too busy traveling
Would
through...
never party with Stephen Hawking. You were about to get super excited because you do
Well,
want to
no.
party with
I
Stephen
would
Hawking.
absolutely party with Stephen
That
Hawking.
guy's
No,
fucking weird.
He's
Oh.
weird. Exactly.
It would be amazing to meet Stephen Hawking. He's
Yeah.
one of the smartest minds in the universe.
I don't know that he is.
But-
Have you ever actually read anything that he's written? That is a fucking weird ass sumbitch.
He is one of the smartest minds in the universe. But at the same time, if I invented a time machine, I got better things to do than go hang out with Stephen Hawking.
Y'all,
I'm traveling
No.
through time.
If I invent the time machine, I'm going to fucking Stephen Hawking's house and fucking bragging. Like, hey, motherfucker. Look
yeah,
at
that's
what
what I did, bitch.
Yeah, that's where I'm going first, and then I'm heading over to Elon Musk's house and be like, how much you gonna give me for the for the
See,
patent on this technology?
Oh,
Yeah.
hell no.
Yeah.
I would use that shit straight up for nothing but personal gain. Like, because I'm terrible.
I'm with that.
I'm
Well,
winning the
exactly.
lottery.
I'm with that. I would go back and hit every major Powerball that's ever happened.
I wouldn't do every one because I'm not a greedy bitch.
Oh,
but
I
I would
definitely
be
would.
to
Fuck
where I
all
never
y'all.
have to go to work again. And we would probably be doing our podcast every day. Drinking.
I'm hitting the Powerball. I'm manipulating the stock market. Whatever I got to do, I'm getting rich if I have a time machine.
And then
I'm placing bets on major
I want to
sporting
go to
events.
Woodstock.
Ew, that would be fun.
No, apparently it was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
definitely.
Apparently it was the worst fucking thing ever, but I still want to go. I want to go to Woodstock 94. Apparently that was even worse
Even
than
worse.
the original
Definitely even
Woodstock.
worse.
I mean, there
Remember
are...
we watched Woodstock '94 pay-per-view?
Yep. But apparently, I mean, there's a bunch of shit that I would go back to see. I don't know that I give a shit about going forward because I really don't care that much about it. Like, would you want to go into the future? I really don't.
I would only go into the future.
I think at first I would be. I'm greedy enough to where I would be more concerned with personal gain.
Right.
I'm gonna go back and make bets on every major sporting event.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back.
You're going to
and
invent something.
I'm-
Twitagra.
I'm gonna.
Twitagra.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna win the lottery, or
I'll
I'm,
be right back.
or I'm gonna go back and probably be a shady motherfucker and steal somebody's invention, or like a movie. Like if you wrote a fucking famous cult movie.
We could
After...
write a
Hey.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
No! We could go back and solve murders. We could fucking find Jack the goddamn Ripper.
Yeah, I would be in.
And that's exactly what I would do.
I think
I don't give a shit about the future. I would all do.
I would go to the
I think-
future because I'm worried about me and I'm selfish.
But what if it sucks? Then you got to spend the rest of your life here knowing that all
I
you're
wouldn't-
working toward is shit.
I would try to change everything I'm doing to not
I
go
think-
to shit.
Do you think you can change it though, or is it fate? Especially if
think
it's already
that I-
imprinted where you can
I
float
think that
there.
I could change it.
After I fulfilled my
'Cause
needs
there's a million
for
different
personal
timelines.
self gain, I would be interested in doing other stuff. I would definitely go to the future.
What if that fucks up your whole life and like you never meet Kelly and you never meet us and then you're
I'm
just
fucking rich.
I'm not. Well, he could go back to the Powerball last week.
That's
He
true.
already knows,
That's
Kelly.
true.
Everything is the same. We haven't
Yeah.
even seen you in the last
That's
week, so
true.
none of that matters.
But yeah, I would definitely like take care of my self needs. Like I'm gonna get rich first.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
I would go-
absolute straight up. Just I'm in it for me,
No,
son. I'm not telling any fucking body.
After that, I think I would be.
I would be scared to go to the future because I
No,
don't want to see it.
I would go like maybe 20 years in the future because
I
I'm
don't want-
selfish and I want
I
to know
wouldn't-
where I'm gonna be.
But what if it's terrible?
Well, then I'll fix my life now and fuck y'all. I'm moving
But
to not
what-
South Carolina.
What about the whole theory of like meeting yourself or your ancestors if you went back and fucking up reality now?
Well, I don't want to go back. That's my
She wants
point.
to go
I want to go forward.
But the same thing. That's why I said you're.
If I meet myself, I explode.
If you meet yourself in the future,
I die.
could you fuck up things now?
That was a
Oh.
Family Guy episode where Stewie met his older, and the
Hey, I
older was
remember
still a
that.
virgin, and
I remember that one too. I remember that one.
I fucking love
Yeah, I don't know. I know that supposedly, you know, if you go back and you see yourself, it's
You-
the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
You can fuck shit up.
They
That
call
was a
it-
very good movie, regardless of the shit that it
I
got.
like to think that
I
it's
love
like
that
Hot Tub
movie.
Time Machine, where I
There's-
am myself.
There's an
Right.
actual term for it called the grandfather effect, to where if you go back and you meet yourself or your ancestors, and that's based off of Back to the Future of all things,
Yeah,
to
dude.
where he went back and if his parents never met, he disappeared.
There's a lot of shit that I want to go
I-
back and see. I would love to have been there.
I would love to see a lot of the major historical events
Mm-hmm.
that happened before my time.
Nah, man, fuck that.
I mean, if you could go back and see, like, the Wright brothers' first flight.
Nah, man, fuck that. I want
Or
to go
you-
to the future.
Or you could see the Hindenburg explode and fall to the ground.
Nah, man,
Wave
fuck
to
that. I
the
wanna go
people on
future.
the that are leaving on the fucking Titanic.
Nah,
Like,
man,
Yeah.
fuck that. I want to go to this.
but you're not allowed to change anything, so you would have to just wave them by like everybody else. You couldn't.
I can't do that.
You couldn't be like, "Hey, y'all are about to fucking."
I couldn't do that.
capsize."
That's why I can't go to the past.
See,
because
I'm-
I'm going to be like, look, fucked up shit's about to happen. You need to leave. And then I'm going to fuck up just the whole future.
I feel like that would be worse, like, if you were somehow prohibited from interacting with the past, and you went back to some tragic events, because you would be there, kind of like a ghost, like, fucking don't get on the Titanic, or, you know, don't get on the Hindenburg, but nobody heard you.
Yeah.
I think that would fuck with me mentally.
So what do you think? Do you think that if you go, if time travel is real and we do go back, do those people see us?
I would assume so, yeah.
I like to think it's like Hot Tub Time Machine. I'm me.
So we're doing it again and we look like whatever. But what if you go back to a time before you were born? So are
Well,
you
then
saying?
I'm like that kid and he flickers. If I'm not born, I flicker.
But he interacted with everybody. Well, no, they all ignored him the whole time, didn't they? Because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there. Like, he
But he
thought
was
he was talking to
watching.
that chick, but he wasn't really talking to that chick.
Yeah.
But if you went back in time and you interacted with people, who's to say they would care? Because think about how many people.
But all it would take would be for one to care. Like if we went back to the
Or-
Titanic and we told one little old lady, and then she had a fit and it stopped the whole boat.
Or just,
Even for 5 minutes, that would have changed their
or just
course,
a
and they never
2-second
would have
delay
hit.
could change anything.
Yeah.
Like, 2 seconds
And then-
delay, you're no longer going to get stuck in this elevator that you're walking to.
But then you've got to think. So what happens then if all those people didn't die on the Titanic?
How does that
How does
ripple
that
throughout time?
Ripple, and probably big ass ones that we don't realize.
Oh, yeah.
So you would have to be non-discrepant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's why
let's
I
say
would
we've got
go-
a time machine right here, right? And I want to go back to 1870 and I get in it. I show up looking like this because I'm going to stand out like a sore fucking thumb.
You show up standing like that. You have to put on 70s clothes.
I would have to put on 1870s clothes. So we'd have to go to the goddamn costume curio
What?
and prepare
I mean,
for our time travel.
What's stopping you from going back in time and then buying period clothes
That's
at a
true.
clothing store then?
The dude
But I would
in
have to
clothing
walk
shop being
into
like,
the
"What fuck
clothing
are
store
those?"
wearing this
Jeans.
seatbelt, my
the
little
fuck are
pony
jeans?
belt.
And
What the
you
fuck are
could
jeans?
you could easily explain that away like I'm foreign, I'm from a different country.
I mean, I
Just
guess
think-
that's true.
Way back in the day,
Fuck you,
traveling
I'm
between
foreign.
countries was something that wasn't very.
Yeah.
Fuck
Like,
you, I'm foreign. These are
people
jeans.
that-
Fuck you, I'm foreign. These are jeans.
People didn't go to
And then you
the,
could sell jeans to everybody.
You could sell
right? You could
Everybody
get-
be wearing Karens instead of Levi's.
Yeah, get jeans and
I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day, people didn't go to the airport and hop on a 747 and 12 hours later they're in London.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you got on a boat and it took you
That's
3
true.
years to get there.
If I've got my phone in my pocket, does it still work?
No.
There's an inch.
Any of it. Even, I mean, obviously I don't have
You
service.
can use your calculator,
Does my,
and you can look at your pictures.
how?
There's
Does the
an-
camera work?
No. Maybe?
But the calculator works?
there's
I
an-
think that anything that doesn't require internet on your phone would work.
So the camera
The-
works?
The camera and the calculator and shit like that.
This is something that's been brought up, and I showed it to our scientist earlier.
Or inebriated intellectual
And-
science bitch! Ding, ding, ding!
In 1928, Charlie Chaplin film came out, and they premiered it at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. This lady is seen walking outside holding something up
I've
to her.
seen that picture.
Yeah.
I've seen that
and
picture.
she's talking on something, but everybody says, well, it could be a cell phone, but what did she do? Take the cell phone tower with her? And that's a plausible thing.
and also
Well-
the other person. I mean, who the fuck is she talking
That's
to?
true.
Like,
Phones,
Yeah.
phones require the towers, but my point is, what if she came from far enough in the future where phones do not rely on towers? What if they just interconnect to each other?
Phones are like walkie-talkies.
I brought up walkie-talkies because I didn't know when they were invented.
Yeah,
I'm like, could she be talking to a
Well, then, but
on a
you have to do
walkie-talkie?
the same
Well,
time.
apparently not because that patent was filed in 1935, so they weren't made until
we did look into
1940s.
that, and walkie-talkies were not around.
So
then.
she is not talking on a walkie-talkie. I don't know what.
Yeah, walkie-talkies came out like
I mean,
7, 8 years later.
Yeah. But if she was like a spy,
Was
you know,
the
because she's at the
inventor of
Chinese
walkie-talkie?
theater. That's me being racist over here. She would probably have like access to shit that we didn't have access to.
That's true. Right,
But
like I feel like the
being-
government is probably 30, 40 years before us.
But
Ahead of us,
being that walkie-talkies did not even exist then, nobody had technology like that.
In what
Except for
year
the
is
fucking
it?
government.
this is 1928.
1928.
Well, they had some technology because they filmed a whole movie.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz was filmed back then. So
Yeah.
how
I
did
thought
they
they
talk to
did-
each other on set?
I thought
By
it was like,
opening their mouths and speaking.
Sets are big, son. You need headsets.
not necessarily.
Have you seen the Wizard of Oz? There's like a whole tornado in there.
The patent for walkie-talkies was filed in
Fix it in post.
1935 and granted in 1936. So walkie-talkies were not a thing because this happened in 1920. What did it say? 1928. So the
I think she's a spy.
the patent for walkie-talkies did not even exist.
And that's,
I mean,
that's
I
the
don't-
U.S. patent, though, right?
A
Who
spy-
says she's American?
A
What about-
spy could be a real thing because
What about Russia?
J. Edgar Hoover was spying on Charlie Chaplin because he thought he was a communist sympathizer back in the day.
Oh,
And what about other?
conspiracies galore?
What about other patents though? Like when did Russia have walkie-talkies? When did China? Because
Like-
nobody says
like, no-
she's American.
No, the first walkie-talkie patent ever was 1935. But I didn't think about the J. Edgar Hoover thing. I knew that before I started doing research because I'm a Chaplin fan.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, and
I didn't know that, and we're married, and we've been.
What
married
is the one where he's like working in the factory? And I don't know what his job is, but he just turns shit all day, and then he comes out and he walks up to that lady and he does this on her boobs.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the names of all those movies though.
That's the only Charlie Chaplin fucking clip I know. But it's like he's in a factory, he's working all day, and it's like he's stuck in his work mode, and he's walking down the street, and it's like New York City or whatever, and he walks up to this lady. And it's like,
But yeah, J. Edgar Hoover, who spied on everybody, that's the founder of the FBI. He spied on everybody that he didn't like, and I'm not sure if he did, but he attempted to get Charlie Chaplin deported from the United States.
where is he from?
He's from England, I believe.
Oh, I feel like I knew that.
That sounds right.
Excuse me.
But J. Edgar Hoover attempted to get him deported based on the movie the Great Dictator, or The Dictator, whatever it's called, where he portrayed Hitler. And he's like, well, why are you making a movie about Hitler? That's wrong. I think the world wars are going on at that time. Hitler's the worst guy in the world at that point. Why would you be making a movie about it to play in the United States?
Well,
I'm going back.
wasn't the interview all about Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
But-
And it was the dad from fucking Fresh Off the
we're looking
Boat.
at a different time period.
I know, but still. Like,
Okay, but I've got
say-
another time travel question. So, if you could, without altering history, if you could go back and drink a beer with Hitler, would you do it?
Hell
Absolutely.
I would.
Hell yeah.
I would
Yeah.
fucking too. I
Absolutely.
would too.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to know the root to his fucking insanity.
It was syphilis, wasn't it?
I thought it was because nobody liked his art.
But we still got any final thoughts
We're
about.
done. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Thank you. We ain't got no final thoughts because nobody knows shit. And
Nobody
we're all
knows
fucking-
We're all
shit except
drunk.
for Trump is a time traveler.
We're all just drunk.
Trump is not a time traveler.